All right, welcome to machine learning with Orange Data Mining tool. Orange Data Mining is a very nice and convenient way to do machine learning and data analysis because it doesn't need coding. I think that's one of the main benefits. Um, it works very well. It's very intuitive, and it will create a workflow for you that will really help you a lot with your data analysis work that you can do. So the first thing we'll do is we'll put this file over here. And what the file does, you can read in files from your own computer, or you can just use one of these built-in datasets like this. Iris dataset is one of the built-in datasets that comes together with Orange Data Mining when you install it. So there's a few more, you see. Iris is selected by default, and when you select this file, it gives some information here. It tells you there are 4 numeric features, and the target variable is the iris column, which is categorical. So we can do classification as well on this data set. And it shows you those 3 flower types too. Now, if you click these 3 dots, then you can basically find your own data if you want to analyze your own data and find its location, and then you should be able to get it as well. Um, .tab is basically tab separated files. You can upload here a CSV file, Excel file. Um, there's quite a few different files that you can use here. Now the dataset is loaded. Let's check how it looks like. So one way to put a widget over here, these are all called widgets, or once it's there in this graph, so we'll create a graph-like structure. I will just call them nodes as well. But you know, Orange calls these things widgets here. So let's add the data table widget. What I did was I just clicked on it. That's one way to edit, or you can hold it here, left click, drag it over, and then put it somewhere you like. To connect these two, we will drag from the right side here of the circle, this dashed line. We will hold it there and then drag a line towards the left side of the data table. This way we will be able to see what this data looks like. Now, right side of these circles are for output and the left side is for input. So you see the data was read in here, and then we are connecting that to the data table, right? So the output from this file goes to the input of the data table. So this way we can see how the data looks like. These are the 4 measurement columns. This is the iris column for the flower types. This visualize numeric values was selected. That's why you see all those colors and those bars there. The bar height or the bar width or length, actually, let's say, is the value of the based on the numeric value of those numbers there. And if you scroll down, because we have 3 different flower types, you will see the other ones as well, and it's different colors are used for those. If you click on sepal length, let's say one of the numeric columns, it will order from small to large. If you click again, it will be reordered from large to small. Um, the coloring is because we set color by instance class. If you unclick that, the color will go away. I think all these are selected will make it, will make it easier for you to have a quick look at the numeric values here. So I will keep them. And then selection. So you can select some rows because select full rows is selected there, right? And if you click Control and then click with the left mouse button there, you can select a few rows in different locations. If you click Shift, okay, click one row, and let's say you want all of these rows up until here. So while clicking Shift, I left click here and then here, and all of them were selected in between as well. Now select full rows is selected. That's why when I click anywhere, the whole row is selected. If you want just some specific values, then what you can do is, for example, let's say you want all the values from here to here, you can do that with Shift, or you can do Control as well. Then only those cells will be selected. Let's say I'm going to be interested for some reason. I'm interested um, in checking these values later on. Let's say I want to copy them into Excel or somewhere else, save it, and then use it somewhere, send it to a friend or whatever it might be. You can select them, do Control C, and then basically you can paste it over here. Okay, so you see, let me open a new sheet. So you can just, wherever you want to put it, you can put it there, save it, and send it out. That's one way to do it. The better way could be, and actually let me reopen this. So these are selected now, right? And let's say you want to save these. You see when I copied to Excel, the column names weren't there. Okay, the column names aren't there. Probably you want to have column names and everything. So let's save it right away. So you see I use this save widget, save data widget, connect this data table into save data. And you see in this connection, pay attention, you see selected data, arrow, and then data. If you double click on it, you can see that as well. So selected data becomes data. So that means the selected data that we just selected here in this data table, that's the output, and that becomes the input into my save data. So in the save data now I can save that file, save that selection. And if you click the save as, you will see you can save it in tab format, in CSV format, in Excel file, and there's a few more other file types there. Whatever fits your needs, you can choose one type and then save it in that format, and you can choose the location as well. Okay, so that's there. Now here you see these are the different what's it called, like collection of widgets. This is data, right? So um, some important other things here to consider, to know, is, for example, this feature statistics. If you connect these two, it will give you a quick summary. These are histograms for numeric variables, and this is a bar chart for categorical type. For numeric values, it will show mean, mode, median, minimum, maximum, etc. This bar chart is for categorical type. Okay. This is good for just a quick visualization, just to see if there's anything that really, you know, let's say it's an outlier maybe, or really stands out. I can directly see here, for example, petal length, petal width stands out. Why they are all the way to the left? They're quite a bit separated than this red and blue class here. So this means if I were to do classification, okay, petal length and petal width seems to be very useful because they right away can, distinguish blue from the other class, from the red and the green classes there. So petal length and petal width are both seem to be very, very useful in this regard. Again, this is just one variable, so meaning we are just looking at one variable at a time. But even with that, you see this blue class is easily separable from the others, which is a good thing to have in classification, because that's the whole purpose of classification. You want to separate the classes from each other correctly. So what other tools do we have here? There's data info. This could be also very useful. This really just gives you very basic info, like how many rows there are, how many columns there are, what type of features you have. We have 4 numeric features. We don't have any categorical features. That categorical column is the target column. Okay, that's the target column, the iris flower type. If there's any missing data, that will be shown here too. Okay, now let's look at a visualization. So you click visualize, so this will open up. Okay, you see there's quite a few visualization tools we can look into, and many of these visualizations, at least some of them are actually geared towards like classification, regression, or maybe clustering purposes. Because as I said, this tool is the main goal here is not really visualization. It's more about analyzing data and doing machine learning. Okay. So distributions, let's look at that one. Okay, so here sepal length is on the x-axis, and the distribution, the histogram is being shown for that. So here I had added a fitted distribution. That's these lines here. If this is the first time you're opening, you might not even see that. It might be like this. It might be just these bars here, basically for a histogram. If you decrease the bin width, then there will be more bars because the bin width is much smaller now. And this is basically, you can fit a normal curve on each class or a kernel density on each class. Let's stay with normal. See, we are fitting a normal distribution. And you see the peak of this red, for example, is around in the middle because that's where the majority of the red points are. This is versicolor, right? The versicolor flowers are majority of them are around here. For the blue class, the peak is around here because that's where majority of the blue flowers are, which is Setosa type. Okay. So after adding these lines, you might want to get rid of the bars so you can hide them as well. So here, one interesting thing is selection. So I will put the bars back just to make it easier for you to see. So let's say I'm interested in seeing these flowers here. I want to see which flowers are towards the right hand here. And, are they all from the green class or is there some from the other classes as well, maybe? So what can I do? Well, after the selection, so you see this data table is a very useful widget because after that selection, if I make this connection from the distributions to data table, you see again, I see the same thing, selected data to data. So the selected data here will be shown in this data table. Let's check it out. So that's our visualization there. This is the data table output. Let me put that back. Okay, so you see, if you don't select anything, this will go. If you select something, that basically those flowers there will be shown over here. So I said I'm selecting this with control right now, holding control and just clicking on. Now I have to click a bit carefully. Yep, like this. Okay. All right, so it seems like it's only from the green class, which is Virginica type. You see those are shown here. The measurements are shown. This is the criteria. So you see, if you pay attention, let me add one more to make it easy. So I'm selecting now all the flowers that are 7 and up. So sepal length is equal to 7 or more. So those are selected based on the sepal length. That's my selection criteria, and that's that's what's shown here. It says sepal length greater than 7. On the x-axis, because on the x-axis I have sepal length, I changed this. Let's go with this petal length. You see, we remember petal length was very useful for at least the blue class. It was very useful. Now let's say this area from here to here. There's a bit of overlap between red and green, quite a bit. So let's say I want to analyze them further. So I can select that area. And you see the criteria is between 4.25 to 5.25 or so. And that's shown here. So the selection criteria is 4.25 is less than petal length, which is less than 5.25. And all the flowers are shown. You see these are the red flowers there and these are the green flowers. Okay. So it's a data table, so we know what these are now already. And again, you can, let's say you found them interesting, you can again save them as well, right? So you can just do this again, and after this you can save them again. Okay, so you can double click on it. So if you can find the location, give it a name, and then you can click the save button, and then this widget should save it. All right. So let's do another thing. Let's do scatter plot. Okay, perfect. And now just double click on it. It will show you a very nice scatter plot. So on the x-axis we have sepal length, on the y-axis we have sepal width. Okay. The coloring, all these colors are based on the iris flower type. You can either, if you select none, it will be all gray, or you can choose some of these numeric values. For example, if we have sepal length on the x-axis. Let's put it here. Now, well, that's already easy, right? Because sepal length left is small and then it increases towards the right. And you see that coloring here too, from blue to yellow, it increases. Actually, I was going to say, let's use another one. Let's use petal length, which is not present either on the X or the Y axis. Okay, petal length is not used here. So what we do now, this coloring is based on a variable that's not present in this figure. And you can see, for example, this petal length, remember, this is the blue class. And it's very easily able to separate them out because this petal length values are quite different than the other flowers here. There's a bit of overlap over here. It's mostly green towards this side and mostly yellow on this side. So petal length is quite large here, very small on around here, and kind of a medium value around here. It's mostly green. Okay, so it could be useful. Or if if you just want to see the target variables, if you want to see the scatter plot being colored based on the target variable, you can select that too. You can change the shape. So for example, shape based on the iris flower type, you see everything was circle, now it's different shapes. You can choose a different size based on the numeric column. So you see some of them will become larger, some of them will be smaller. You see we use petal length interval for coloring. You see petal length is very small here, kind of a medium value here, a bit of overlap there, and just larger values here. So you can see that here too with the size. Okay, let's not do that. This label is this. So by default, there's no labels here. And if you put labels, let's say iris flower type, it will show up like this. So it will put the labels on each of the points, or you can put one of the other columns here. In this case, it will show, for example, the petal length values. Now, this is too much overlapping. This is not nice. This is not useful, but it could be useful if you click this one. So label only selection. So let's say you look at this figure and you say, okay, I want to look at this flower more because it's all the way on this side. Okay. Or you can select more than one. Maybe you want to analyze this middle area where there's quite a bit of overlap. Now there's still kind of a because there's lots of points on top of each other, so it's still a bit hard here, but you can at least maybe zoom in and zoom out. Or you can maybe more like look at some specific areas like this one. Okay. Um, so yeah, let's keep that there. That's fine. Um, Symbol size, so you can make it altogether very large or very small. Opacity this is fully opaque. This is fully, well, full transparent. Now nothing is there left, so somewhere in the middle makes more sense. Why? Because you see, some of these are darker red, some of these are lighter red. The darker red, if you hover over them, you will see there's more than one point there. So because it's the same values. So that's why when you have opacity, you can see that as well. Now, another thing for this purpose is actually jittering. The jittering means add some randomness to these points so that they do not exactly sit on top of each other. Okay, there will be some separation because of random noise being added to each of them. So for example, this value here, the sepal length is 6.1 for both, right? So after this random noise, sepal length will become 6.15 for one, and maybe 6. I don't know, 0.2 for the other one. It's random noise, so it can increase or decrease the value by some amount. So let's try that. So let's add a little bit. You will see those points moving around. Oh, okay. After you move it, I had to click somewhere on the screen. Okay, let's move a little bit more. You see, okay. Yeah. So these values were very small, we couldn't see it, but as you increase the jittering a bit more, so you see how they move a little bit. Um, Again, the actual values we do not change. It just during this visualization, some random noise is being added to those points. That's it. Now the same idea here too. Let's say I am interested in, I don't know, these flowers. Okay. Once these are selected, if I put a data table here, I can see those selections. And then again, I can save them if I wanted to. Let's open them up. Let's open the visualization as well. Okay, so you see when I don't select anything, nothing will be shown. If I select some of these points, they will be shown here. Okay. Okay, that's it for now, and thank you and see you later.